All right, everyone. We are going to complete this today. One couple things I wanted to bring up before we get started. Number one, if you haven't figured it out already, when you're drawing your letters in perspective, one thing that I think would really help is if you draw these letters with kind of a boxy feel, kind of like that digital alarm clock type font, if that makes sense. So if you see this S, it looks a little bit weird. I don't think they meant you to draw with kind of curves, right? The regular S type deal. Hold on. I think they want you to draw an S kind of like that, right? It's a horrible art teacher S. But if you look at it, I think they want you to draw this line here and then this line down here. So they're really trying to get you to draw in a boxy kind of fashion instead of a curvy, nice fashion. I think they want you to do the same thing with the J over here. So when you're drawing the J, right, do like an L with a little like box on top instead of like a curvy J. That was something that I identified previously. Maybe you figured that out already. I don't know. But just wanted to bring that up to you. So the one of the questions I got yesterday was how to complete the N. And honestly, for letters that have curves and also for letters that are a little bit abnormal, like this N that has this crazy diagonal coming down out of nowhere, which does make it hard to draw, basically my advice is to start with a box and then work your way backwards. And I haven't technically tried this out, but this is how I used to do it when I was in high school. And it worked pretty well for me. So we're going to try it out here. We're trying it live. We'll see if it works. All right, so I'm going to redraw the N. It looks like the N starting line, excellent band, is right in the middle. So right smack dab in the middle. Just try to make sure that I'm getting some vertical lines here, especially because it's probably a little bit askew in the recording. So go down. All right. So this is going to be our beginning point. I've been outlining this in red. So there you go. That's the front part of our letter. That is the edge of the letter that is closest to us. And we're going to start by drawing a box. So I think since this is right in the middle, the N could technically go both ways, but in order for it to be forwards, I think I'm going to have it go this way. So the first thing I'm going to do is just draw a box. This is kind of a departure from yesterday. Like I said, there's a couple different ways you can do this. This is one of the different ways. So drawing a box in perspective is something that we all can do. Right, we're taking the bottom and top of that edge that's closest to us to the vanishing point. And we know that we're not going to draw all the way back, right? We're not going to use this area for sure. So we don't have to draw that all the way back. If you want to, you totally can. Just trying to save some eraser, really. I don't care about the graphite so much, but okay, so this is how our box starts. And then we're going to kind of draw like I don't know, maybe if you want to call it a cage, I suppose, for your N. So we know that if the N, like kind of the letter part of the N, does anyone see that? So we're essentially going to be making that a box, right? We'll leave that there for a guide for now. But this side is just going to be kind of the back edge. So we're going to just make a little vertical wall back here for our thin box. Okay, so that's going to be the back edge of our beginner box. Now we know that we have to bring this guy all the way back over to our right hand vanishing point. All right, now we got to figure out how far our N is going to go. It looks like it's going to be about here. And we're just roughly planning right now, so I think that looks good. Now we got to bring this edge back to the left side. So again, this is just what we did on the previous page, which is boxes in perspective. All right, and that's going to leave us with something like this. So I'm going to get rid of my little plan over here. I'm going to get rid of my extra orthogonal lines, and we'll see if we can make sense of this. I don't know. Maybe this is more confusing. Maybe it's less confusing. This is just another way to do it. So, if you were going to create an N in this box, this is how it would start. So kind of like what I did up here with the H. See how there's that kind of line that is up here at the top? We kind of started with a box and then sort of carved away at it to make your H. So we're going to do kind of the same thing here. Think of this as like a plaster block. We're going to start removing sections of it in order to make the N. So the first part of an N, that's an N, right? Or at least the N that we're going to draw. But we have to draw it in kind of box letters, so it becomes a little tricky. So let's see. First of all, I'm going to put like kind of a vertical line in that's going to show us where the front post of that N is. And I'm going to do that so I can see it. So vertical line. I'm going to do it lightly. We'll see how much we need to use. Okay, and I know we're going to have this, so we just made this front post, and then we need to make this back post as well. So I'm going to do that right now as well, and then we'll see kind of how it works. One thing I did notice I did yesterday that kind of helps with the overall illusion of things is the front edge of the H is wider than the back edge of the H. And we know that because things get smaller as they go back in space. That was just something I did. I didn't realize I did it until I looked at it later. So just a heads up there. I tried to do it a little bit here. This guy is a little bit wider than this dude in the back. So take that or leave it. Now we have to put our little crossbar in, right? And I feel like this is where it gets kind of tricky because you're putting in a line that is neither vertical nor vertical or orthogonal. So I think we're going to have something that looks like this. I mean, that works for me. So basically what I did is here to here. And then I did from here to here. And if we broke this down and we actually looked at this from a typography point of view, this might not be correct. But let's start here and see where it goes. All right. And then I'm going to erase these extra lines, see what our N looks like. So again, I'm kind of drawing an N on the front edge. That more or less works. All right, so using the box as kind of a guideline, we have our N. So now we kind of have to remove the extra parts, and like you can do this however, whatever makes you happy. I think that looks pretty close. So I'm going to leave it for now. And like I said, a lot of this is guess and check. Okay, now looks like we have to remove these two triangles. And I'm going to start with this bottom one. So I don't think we need to do anything to this right here. I'm just looking at it and it looks okay. But I do think we're going to see a line over here. So I'm going to go from this corner back to the vanishing point. And we'll see how far back that needs to go. I don't know. That looks right. So now that we have that line in, I'm going to remove this bottom box line. And let me know if I'm going too fast or too slow. And then I think, so we're going to see this post here. So I think we need to go from this intersection back to the left as well. So that's going to end our shape up there. Good. And then it looks like we need to do one over here as well. Top of our kind of cross beam. And yeah, it looks like we've kind of just done exactly what we aim to do, which is cut out this edge. Looking good. And then it looks like we're going to need a vertical edge over here in the back too. So we're back to regular vertical lines. This one's going to go straight up and down. And that's going to create the back of our N over there. And I could be wrong, but I think we can continue this line straight down. We'll see what this does. No, that doesn't work. That was wrong. We'll just leave it like that. Honestly, I don't know. Something's wrong with it, but I'm not sure quite what it is. I'm pretty sure it's this, but I'm not sure how to do that. Oh, you know what? It's that. Okay. I got it. So we're going to have a parallel line right here. So where, you can add this, you don't have to, but I believe we need a little parallel line there. That shows us where the N comes up. So I don't even know if that's necessary, but now that we have everything in place, that diagonal crossbar really messes me up. So yeah, we're just erasing extra lines. There you go. So I don't know if that was more or less simple. But when you get complex designs like a J or an N or an S, sometimes it's a little easier to start with a box and work backwards. Or you could theoretically start with two skinny boxes and add in that crossbar. But for letters like a T, which is just two rectangles basically stacked on top of each other, it's not too hard to recreate that. And an H is kind of the same way, right? So it's got, a rectangle and a rectangle with a crossbar. You just kind of have to analyze what you're drawing and kind of go from there. Try to make it work for you. So there we go. N, who's got questions?